This is other state champ Alex Thompson. This is Josh Elwer from the University of Northern Iowa, and you're listening to Potentially Dangerous on IA Russell.
Hey, is this heaven?
No, it's Iowa.
From high school to international wrestling, on the mat and beyond, this is the Potentially Dangerous podcast with the guys from IA Russell.
If you're a fighter, you like a fight. If you're an American, you like a fight. If you're an Iowa Hawkeye, you know you're going to get a fight.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and all your podcast-friendly apps. And follow us on social media platforms at IA Russell. Time to strap it up and get to the show.
When the whistle go.
Welcome back to the Potentially Dangerous podcast. We got a special guest today. Joining us is the true freshman Iowa State phenom, Kanen Storr. Kanen's off to a really good start to his Iowa State career. So I'll just go ahead and say, hey, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, your second time on the podcast. You remember your first time on? And, I mean, we were just talking about, you know, you getting to Iowa State in Fargo, and now look how far you've come.
I know, yeah, wasn't too long ago, but, man, what a different situation we're in now.
For sure. So we can kind of just jump both feet right into this. Obviously, pretty big news to get in the middle of the season that your head coach is going to be stepping down. Kevin Jackson, of course, made that news in December. And then, you know, you guys kind of go through, the program goes through this tumultuous or, you know, kind of like nerve-wracking who's going to be the next coach. And we find out it's going to be Kevin Dresser. So taking us back to when Jackson announced that, I know you were hit pretty hard by this news. You know, what was going through your mind at that time?
Actually, right when I found out, I was in Colorado Springs getting ready to compete at the Dave Schultz tournament. So, I mean, it took a little while to hit me because, you know, I was out there cutting weight and just focused on competing. But as soon as the tournament was over, it hit me. It was like, man, you know, Coach Jackson's not going to be my coach anymore. I have no idea what's going to go on with the assistants. And so it was shocking. It took a little bit of time to sink in that it actually happened. But I mean, I was bummed. I love Coach Jackson. I love the assistants and Travis and Trent Paulson and Angel Escobedo. I'm not sure if they're going to be around or not anymore. I don't think anyone knows besides Coach Dresser. But you know, it was a major bummer to me just because of the relationship I've built with Coach Jackson. He's a great coach in my eyes. He's a great person, really relatable, and you know, he was just awesome to have around in the room. But, you know, it was just a bummer, and, you know, it was kind of hard to deal with at first. So,
you know, you said you get this news out in Colorado Springs. You're obviously with a couple teammates. Danny Vega, Ian Parker were out at Dave Schultz with you. You know, what were their kind of reactions to hearing the news? I mean, and then you come back and you see the team. I mean, just kind of what was going on with the team, and did it feel like, you know, what was the feeling like, and just kind of give us that experience? Yeah,
so actually, first, Vega actually didn't make it out to the spring to compete with us, but I was there with Ian Parker, and, you know, same thing went on with him. It was like, you know, we're just worried about competing first, and then, you know, once the tournament was over, we were talking, and just both had the same feelings, like just was shocked by it. You know, we didn't know what was going to happen, and obviously we weren't back in Ames, so we didn't see what was going on, but, you know, everything we heard, it was just like everyone was lost, you know, like people in the room were just, you know, confused and concerned, and, you know, just really didn't know how to go about it, you know, because they knew, you know, they were training in there, but they weren't going to be, you know, representing the same coach. And so just being out of the state at the time was, you know, was kind of difficult just because we weren't there with the team and experiencing it firsthand. But from what I heard at the time, it was just kind of chaos a little bit. And yeah.
I bet. And, kind of this news sinks in. Obviously, I know you were kind of close with some of those guys that signed letter of intent, and then they requested their release. So I'm sure that was just kind of a real difficult time. But Jamie Pollard kind of comes through the next month, and they announced the signing of Dresser. They have the press conference. So who your new head coach will be, here in we're 3 weeks away from him officially taking over. So, I mean, how did you take that Dresser news and what was going on there?
At first, I was, kind of skeptical just because, I've never really talked to the guy and just I've never really got to know him. But, he gave me a call when I was flying home from Cuba this last week, and I got to talk to him just for a couple minutes because I was going through airport security at the time. But he seems like he's going to be a great coach. He seems like he has high expectations for the program, and he sounds confident in his abilities. So, I mean, I'm excited to see where he takes us, and just excited that he wants a rivalry between the Hawkeyes just as much as I do. But he seems like he's very confident in his abilities, and he's just ready to take the program by the reins and take us back to the top. And I don't know him very well yet, but by the way he talks, I'm gonna trust him. So,
and I know that's really good news, I'm sure, for Cyclone fans to hear. And I know that connection with the Paulsons goes pretty deep. You kind of developed that on the Pan Am cadet trip back when you were in high school. So I guess, you were kind of one of the first people I think fans really thought about when the Jackson news dropped, that there's going to be there's going to be a new head coach. We didn't know if it would be Paulson's dress. I mean, but you're still feeling, 100% committed to the Cyclones at this time?
Yeah. So, like I've mentioned in other articles, I have a lot more here in Ames, Iowa than just wrestling. But aside from that, like in the wrestling part, I feel loyal to the class I came in with. I feel loyal to the guys I've gotten to know that are in classes ahead of me. And, I feel loyal to the program as a whole. These fans have been a big part of my success. And, Ames is just a community I love. I love to be a part of. I love to represent. It's very welcoming and friendly. And I just, in my mind, I want to stay a Cyclone. I love where I'm at. I love the situation I'm in. And, I have no intentions of leaving.
That's great news, man. And kind of one of the things that Dresser, when he came in and he gave his plans, his short-term goals, long-term goals, he talked about developing a regional training center, making that Cyclone Wrestling Club regional training center. And obviously that's probably something that was really important to you, being big into freestyle. Yeah,
so freestyle has always been a big part of my wrestling career. I've competed at Fargo. I've competed at cadet world team trials and, just all over the place with freestyle. And, I've always envisioned just trying to compete for a world title, trying to compete for an Olympic spot. And, him preaching, building an RTC and recruiting guys for the RTC and freestyle, that really put a smile on my face, just because, I always wondered where I would end up after my folk style career, maybe travel back to Michigan or, just had no idea where I was going to end up. But, if he can build a strong and successful RTC program and, make our Cyclone Wrestling Club great, then I'd be more than happy to stay in Ames. Just like I said, community is great. The people are great. And, if we have great training partners and, just a great freestyle coaching staff, I'd be more than happy to stay. So that was very exciting to hear.
And, you talk about bringing in partners, and obviously, you're a red shirt this year, so you're kind of viewed as one of those guys making people in the room, those varsity guys, making them better. So let's go back and look at your folkstyle season. I know we covered it in an interview earlier with you this year, but what are your takeaways from your first season on the mat at Iowa State? You had a real successful year, so just kind of put that into perspective for us.
Yeah, so I came out strong. My first competition was the Grandview Open, and that really got some nerves out of me. I competed with I think at the time, the 20th ranked opponent, and in my eyes that was like, I thought that might have been the biggest win of my my first season here as a freshman. But just winning that smaller tournament really boosted my confidence and just showed myself that I can compete with some of these older guys, and that it's not much different. It's just about how hard you work. And that tournament actually was the only tournament I ended up winning. But looking back at my results, I competed with plenty of top 10 guys. I pushed them to the wall. I just gave them a good match, and was real close to beating those guys. And obviously, anyone can make a match close, but in my mind, I feel like next time around I'm going to beat those guys. I'm going to win those tournaments. Just looking back at it, I think each time I competed, whether I won or lost, I've gotten so much better. I've learned so much. And I'm thankful for my coaches for that, Trent Charles-Paulson, Kevin Jackson, and Angel, because, whether I won a match or I lost a match, we sat down together, we looked at the film and said, okay, this was a good shot. We pieced it together and, tried to perfect it. And then, the matches I lost, it was like, okay, what was I doing different? Took out of that match what I was doing wrong and, prepared it a little bit and fixed it and made it better. So, I lost a few times this season, but each and every time I lost, I gained knowledge, and, my skills have been improved, and I'm just getting better as I'm going on, man.
So for sure, 100%. And, we kind of look at the Cyclone lineup, and we're kind of starting to see a little bit of a bunch up. It seems like, you got Marcus Simmons had a hard time making 25, so he's looking like he's going to come up. Obviously, your buddy Ian Parker's there. There's a lot of guys around your weight. Are you set on, trying to compete at 141 next year, or do you think you might move around to up to 49 to kind of accommodate these guys, or do you have a plan right now for that?
Yeah, we really don't know how we're going to grow, and so, our plan is just to compete at the weight we're best at individually. So let's say Ian and I do end up at 141 at the same time, we're going to fight for the spot, and then, whoever wins, we'll keep it, and whoever loses will either go up or go down. But, we want this team to be great, and for it to be great, we have to be at the best spot for ourselves. So, I think the plan right now is just, I plan on staying at 41, but who knows if I'm going to get bigger throughout the summer or, competing freestyle. Who knows if I'm going to, maybe even get smaller going down to those lower weights. But, we're just going to compete at what's best for ourselves, and I believe it'll all work itself out.
And looking, obviously you spent the year on the sideline. You talked about beating ranked opponents. That's something that that really gave you some confidence. So going into next year, when you're going to be fighting for that varsity spot, and let's just go ahead and assume you're in the lineup. Okay, what's something you're really looking forward to about next year if you get that opportunity to step out on the mat, in the duel? Or whatever?
If God gives me that opportunity, then I'm just excited to be a part of the team. I know I've represented the team from the sideline, like you said, and being unattached, but, being in the lineup and just a part of the team is something I really look forward to. I think my class has a lot of guys who can compete and who can get us some results. And I think, starting fresh next year with a young group of guys and hopefully having, more success than we've had in the past is really something that I look forward to doing, just because, everyone loves having success, but doing it with the guys that I've been training with that are, my age, that I've grown close with. So I think if I get to step in the lineup and, whether we have success or not, we're going to try our best to have the most success we can. But, just sharing that opportunity with my brothers and, my friends is just something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and speaking of things we're looking forward to, Kanen, is your freestyle career. I don't think there's any doubt at this time that, you're you're going to be a junior contender for sure. You're already making waves on the senior team, and, it's a pretty big deal when a club like Titan Mercury takes notice of your talent. So, that was kind of a big announcement that you were signed to the Titan Mercury for helping, fund expenses within the NCAA regulations and all that good stuff. But
right.
I mean, what was that like to be approached by a club that, they win U.S. nationals all the time? So what was it like getting approached by them?
Yeah, it was a great opportunity, and I was extremely thankful for it. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything. We reached out to them first, to see if they could cover me. And, they were kind of skeptical at first, but, I went out and competed at the Schultz and did what I did. And, I think they were impressed with my results there. And, I didn't think it was going to go any further than that, but the same day of the Schultz, they asked me if I wanted to compete at Cuba for them. And, I knew how I had competed there really opened up that door and, made that connection for, to have them and to be able to represent them. So, it was an honor that they picked me up, and, I think they saw my abilities, and I think, them asking me to compete for them again was really just a blessing. And, it's great to have them there and to be able to represent them. And I've just been thankful for that. So.
And talking about that Dave Schultz experience, you take home a silver medal. You're the highest finishing American. You took out four-time All-American Alan Waters. You took out Kindig, former NCAA finalist. Those are some big names. That was a big performance, and that was your first senior level tournament. So, what did you think going in? Did you kind of, all of a sudden that success happened?
Right.
What was that like? Just kind of blowing up.
Yeah. So, I know I was just talking about how I boosted my confidence by, the way I've been competing just in the folk style level, but honestly, I just was there for the experience. I didn't, I wasn't doubting myself by any means, but I did not believe in myself and believe that I could, pull off some of those wins. So, it was just eye-opening, I can compete with the top guys in our country, and, I can compete with the top guys in the world if I really focus and, just compete the way I do and, just have high offensive attack rate. And it wasn't shocking to me, but, it really opened my eyes. Like, I can compete with anyone in the world and, give them a run for their money, if not beat them. So it was just a really cool experience. And, it got a lot of people's attention. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but in my mind, I'm just trying to stay humble, work, the same way I have been all year, and, not let anything go to my head, and just still think that, I have something to prove every single day. So.
All right, but you got to give me a little bit here, because USA Wrestling comes out with their World Team Trial qualifiers for the senior level, and there's two names on here. There's World Champion Logan Stever, and then there's Kanen Storr. I mean, that's pretty select company to only, there's only two names on there, and you're one of them.
Yeah, I laughed at that a little bit when I saw it, because, I was a fan of Logan Stever. I love the way he competes. I was impressed with his just career in general, and seeing my name on the same qualifier list was just something I never really imagined. It was. I honestly laughed at it. It just was really cool to see that I'm being associated with Logan Stever, 4-time national champ, world champ. And, it really makes me feel good about what I've been doing. But, like I said, again, I can't let that get to my head. I'm only 18 years old, and I'm on the same list as Logan Stever. But, I mean, I still have something to prove. I still have, things I want to achieve in between. So, but it was a really cool thing to witness.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got to be really surreal to kind of have, your dreams kind of come true while you still feel like you're learning and growing, that you're just starting out in college, and here you are making waves on the level where guys have been doing this for, full time for years. So I'm sure that's a crazy experience. And I'm sure, you're a traveling dude. You go everywhere. We've known that forever. But I assume what's up next for you is UWW Junior Nationals. Is that right?
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
And do you have an idea? I mean, do you think you can get down to 60? Because I know 61's probably not the easiest, but that's not a junior weight. So.
Yeah, and I've been competing at 61, but there's been a 2-kilo allowance each time, so it's really been 63. I think if I tried to make 60, you would never hear about me again, because I'd probably be dead. So you'll see me up at 65 there for sure. I was thinking about competing at I think it's 63 maybe, but that's not a world weight. That's not a weight class I can compete at, an international level. So if I'm going to be the guy, I'm going to have to, start getting used to it wrestling the 65 kilo weight class. So, I'll be up there just trying to wrestle up at that weight, I guess.
And then, we know from high school, the cadet world team trials, you were in the finals, you were close to making that team a couple of years ago. So what would it mean to be able to make a junior world team? I mean, it's got to be a dream of yours.
Yeah, I always said that my short-term goal was to make the junior world team. And, it would just be awesome, because, I've been thinking about it for a long time. It's been on my mind. And, my goal this year wasn't even for folkstyle. It was to just prepare myself for the junior world team trials and to hopefully get that spot. And I haven't been training freestyle really much at all, to be honest. I've a week before the Schultz and like a week before Cuba, and that's really all I have under my belt for this season so far. But that's been my main goal just for this year. And so if I were to achieve that, it'd be pretty special to me.
All right. Well, we'll definitely look forward to your experience. We'll be covering you heavily here coming into the postseason with all this. Freestyle starts up right away, and that's when I switches gear. So we're really looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to. We always love it when somebody with an Iowa tie's got a, legit shots at making world teams. That makes it fun for us to cover. So I appreciate all you're doing out there, man.
No problem. I'm doing it for a lot of people.
That's right. So thanks again for joining the Potentially Dangerous podcast. Do you want to go ahead and throw out your Twitter if you want to try and pick up some followers that way?
Sure, you can follow me at kstorr_ISU. That's on Instagram too.
That's right. So, give Kanen a follow. He's going to be the next big thing at Iowa State, along with several other of his incoming class. Well, I guess they're not incoming, but, soon to be coming off their red shirts. There's a lot to be expected of your class, and I think everyone's looking forward to it. So best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Get low when the whistle go.